Yes, people, before we get into the interview today, the next 20 interviews will be paying tribute to both Diogo and Andre, who sadly lost their lives due to a tire blowout on the 3rd of July. Uh, they are honestly both great footballers, even better men, and tragically taken from us too soon. And they'll always forever be our lads from Portugal, and Diogo Jota, you will always be our number 20. Enjoy the interview now. Yes, people, welcome back to Vinny's Voice. I'm very honored to be joined by AP the Fighter, Anthony. Anthony, how are you today?
I'm solid, bro. Just grinding every day. You already know me.
Exactly. So, obviously, you've been in the sort of influencer boxing scene for a little bit, for like a minute.
Yeah.
So you fought, I believe, a couple times on CFL or that one time. How was that
Yeah,
sort
just
of experience
once.
for you? That first
Yeah, I
time?
fought on there just once, which is cool. But nah, it was awesome, bro. Like, going to a city I've never been to before, like Nashville, Tennessee, down south, completely different environment. I had my original opponent pull out like last minute, Isaac Cash Taylor, and Bad Anthony actually stepped up. So, like, I wasn't training for him. I wasn't prepared, for his fight style, but we made the adjustments needed and got the dub. So it was super surreal, especially being around a bunch of other influencers, Mams Taylor, Anthony Taylor, Ben Davis, like, so it was awesome. I enjoyed it for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And honestly, for your sort of first introduction to the influencer boxing phase, presume I think not AP, sorry, Bad Anthony. Um,
Yeah.
he was like former mixed martial arts, had like good amount of fight experience on him, and you managed to get the win. So that's
Yeah.
pretty admirable. So I'd like to talk to you about some future opponents. Uh, I saw your manager Josh post like sort of like a made fight poster of you and Chris Burgoon actually. Is
Nah.
that a fight that interests you, and if so, why does that interest you?
Yeah, no, I mean, I've been trying to fight Gooner since I stepped into the influencer scene. That's what I call him, Gooner. It just makes sense. But
Right.
I've been trying to fight him since I stepped into the influencer scene. He was actually going to be our ticket on to CFL4, but he was going ghost. Nobody could get in contact with him. Yada yada yada. So I got it set up with Isaac Taylor, and then eventually fought Bad Anthony. But I mean, it worked out for him because he would have lost that match and just lost any and all type of boxing credibility. But
Right.
I mean, the main reason I want to fight him is like, I don't know, man. He goes in there, he fights this guy named Diesel, who, all due respect to Diesel, like, bro, should not have been fighting Chris Burgoon. He got in there, got cracked with a right hand, and the fight was over. Then I see his fight with Bad Anthony, and I see Burgoon get hit and touched up by Bad Anthony. So in my head, I'm just like, okay, this guy's trying to take easy fights to make himself look like he's this like prolific boxer when he's really not much of anything when it comes to the boxing ring. I don't know what he does outside of this, but like as far as hands, he doesn't got them.
Right.
Now there's history, we go back and forth on X sometimes. So that's a matchup I'm trying to get on. CFL, Misfits, Crypto Fight Night, Brand Risk, somewhere, dog. Like, we gotta run this fade at some point.
Yeah, I did actually have him on. I think was it 2 days ago, and I asked him about your fight, and he said he would be down to make it happen. So who knows? Possibly in the near future we could see that. So but on that fight, would you like it to be on a CFL or potentially a bigger platform such as Brand Race perhaps, because you guys both have decent following.
Yeah. I mean, definitely always looking to go for the bigger platforms. But if we get the fight on CFL, we get the fight on CFL, man. So whatever, I roll with the punches, just take whatever comes. I trust God's plan. So if it ends up on CFL for a belt, that'd be awesome. If it ends up on brand risk, even better. His boy Sayan fought on brand risk. So I could really see that being a possibility as well.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you both deserve that sort of next stage, that bigger stage, because I watched sort of both of you fight, and you're pretty hard. You're hard compared to, I'd say, a lot of the other sort of people in the small creator boxing scene. I would say you two are on the high echelon of skill, if you get what I mean.
Awesome, brother. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So you obviously spoke about being surrounded by that misfits environment when you were on CFL with Mams Taylor, Anthony Taylor, and Ben Davis. Did you manage to have any conversations with any of them about misfits or how things work, or even potentially even moving to misfits in the near
Yeah, man.
future?
So I did have an interesting conversation with Mams, and I don't know if he was cooked, like drunk, or like whatever the case might have been. Like, all due respect to Mams, he's got business savvy, yada yada yada. But it's just, bro, I get out of that fight, I put my nuts on the line in that ring. You know what I mean? I go up to Mams Taylor, I'm chopping it up, and like I can't remember exactly what I said. I think I introduced myself, and he said something along the lines of, "It's great that you can fight, but do you have the gift of the gab?" Like, bro, timeout. I get it. Part of the fight game is selling the fight. Totally get it. Totally understand that. But I was fighting Bad Anthony. Everybody loves him. Everybody fucks with him. I got respect for him. I'm not going to sit here and try to fake some shit talk just to try to like look cool and da-da-da-da-da-da. You want to see shit talk? Line up that Burgoon fight. Line up that Cash Taylor fight. You know what I mean? Those are two dudes that I genuinely dislike. So, like, as far as Bad Anthony goes, like, I'm not going to sit here and shit talk him. I'm glad you asked me that, because I've been waiting to get this off my chest. It's just like, man, like, I go out there and like kill myself, and that's the first thing dude says. But I don't know. The thing is, when I hear stuff like that and it evokes this kind of emotion, I feel like there's a lesson to be learned. So I could use work on the microphone side of things, and I'll pay attention to that next time. But the thing is, like, I'm not going to try to make up some persona or make up some personality like these other guys do. Like, my natural, authentic swagger and charisma will be what I put on display.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I think you talk about putting on a persona. I think a lot of people in this scene, not a lot of people, but a few people do put on that persona, and when it comes to like face to face in real life, they're not as who they say they are. They're not as authentic, and so I think that's very important for you guys or anyone in the influencer boxing team to sort of keep the same energy online as well they would in real life.
Not to cut you off, that's also low-key one of my hypotheses as to why Cash Taylor pulled out of two. We were supposed to fight twice and he pulled out. Like, this dude was talking mad shit to me and like people around me and people in the scene when we were scheduled to fight the first time. Like, keep that same energy. When I see you in Nashville, I'm gonna do this, you're gonna die, yada yada yada. But I feel like to carry that same bravado in a face-to-face setting takes a lot of nuts. A lot of energy, and mixed in with all the shit that he's got going on in his personal life, I just don't think it's sustainable. That's why I will tell anybody, bro, if you're trying to build a brand, you're trying to build some sort of identity, bro, be yourself. I don't care if what anybody says to you, like, just be 100% you. I mean, obviously you want to work on expressing yourself so you sound good on the mic, but don't like try to be somebody else or make something up, because then it becomes like a burden and a chore. When you're getting paid to be yourself, it's easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. So now I want to strip back from the boxing and sort of talk about your sort of personal journey. Before like this whole influencer boxing thing, sort of, were you just making content as you were before, or sort of how did you actually initially get into this whole solo creator influencer boxing? from whatever background you were in before?
Yeah, so I was training kickboxing and
Right.
some MMA because I want to go to the UFC. Like after all this influencer boxing stuff's over, I'm trying to chase the actual UFC gold.
Oh
Um,
wow. Yeah.
yeah, so like I was posting a lot of just about my training on a daily basis and my training regimen. So I already was like generating somewhat of a following through that. And then my one boy that I met at this one job I was at was like, "Yo, I like pay attention to all this influencer boxing stuff. You could beat 95% of these guys." And I was like, "Bro, I'm training, I'm posting on social media. I really do not feel like diving into that. If you think I can do it, then you got to spearhead it and, line things up." And that's my manager, Josh Ward Management. He's just got a good knowledge about this whole game. And, he's been able to open some doors and, get me to CFL fight and whatnot. And hopefully this next fight on Crypto Fight Week.
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. Speaking of MMA, because you said you just stated that you want to get into the UFC, Misfits and Mams have teased a Misfits MMA. When that gets announced, would that interest you? By chance?
Bro. Beyond, that would for sure interest me, for sure. Just because I know the skill level of individuals in boxing is subpar. So once it goes to MMA, like, bro, they're not gonna be able to hang. Like, I don't care who you put across from me, bro. They're not gonna be able to hang at all. So that definitely interests me. I heard something about Brandreth doing MMA eventually also. So I'm trying to get involved in it all, man. I'm trying to get involved in it all.
Yeah, for sure. That's impressive that you're sort of quite versatile. You're good in the boxing, you do the kickboxing, you also you know do the MMA as well. So that's real good to hear. Real good to hear. So I would like to ask you about your future goals potentially for the rest of the year. Any other goals potentially within the influencer boxing scene, and any goals sort of outside of that for yourself?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm just trying to take this shit over, bro. By the grace of God, hopefully this match with Keith Berry, NFT Kid, aka KO Kid, lines up here. We've been going back and forth on X, this, that, and the third. After I beat Bad Anthony, it kind of put me on his radar. So I've been chirping at him because he's without a doubt beatable. He's 37. I'm 27. That's 10 years. You know what I mean? He can train as much as he wants. Like, it's just not going to be a win for him. But Keith Berry here in September, late September or October. I don't know when that card is. Hopefully we can get on. I mean, I'm in talks with his name's Noor Shams. I don't even if you know him. Noor Shams. He makes the posters.
I've heard the name.
Yeah, he makes the posters for Brand Risk and Misfits. But I've been talking to him. He's trying to get me in Brand Risk before the end of the year, and then they have another Crypto Fight Week card in Miami here in the U.S. In December. So if I could go Crypto Fight Week September, Brand Risk like October, and then back to Crypto Fight Week in December, bro, that would be a dream come true for me.
Oh yeah, the September one is in Singapore, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Southeast Asia is really taking over. I'll let you know after. But anyways, before we wrap up the interview, I asked it at the end of all my interviews. So I'll ask this question to yourself. What is the best quote or piece of advice you've ever heard or received?
I would probably say and this is one of the best because there's so many good ones, but a man who chases purpose instead of women ends up with both.
Yeah.
And I mean, me personally, like, back in the day, I was just so caught up in just the degeneracy of the West, bro. I don't know if you're familiar with what goes on here in the U.S., bro, but it's crazy over here. Like, partying, drugs, women, just all of this degen nonsense, bro. I was wrapped up in it crazy. And I hit a wall, like a hard one. Lost everything, literally everything. My sanity, lost it all. And as soon as I found purpose, as soon as I found a goal, a long-term goal to stick to, everything made sense. Everything was not necessarily easy, but it was easy to get my mind to cope with the fact that we need to do this, like working out, for example, like waking up early, for example, like not smoking weed, for example, like staying, like I still drink sometimes, but like not every weekend, you know what I mean? I'm only drinking like after I win a fight or after something significant. After I like really honed in on purpose as a man, it was just crucial. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Inspirational words from AB the Fighter. Anthony, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you for coming on.
Thank you, brother.